Howdy, everybody. Welcome. And I think I messed up already, but welcome to Free and Easy, No Risk Money. And by the way, we are giving away more free money. So, isn't that right, Claude?
Yeah, just when I first come in, I just want to make sure there's a place where you give away the money to make sure I'm in the right group. So.
Oh, you are. You are in the right group. Free money on demand and command any time you want. Right?
That's the beauty of this, by the way.
Oh, it is totally the beauty of this thing.
And to me, it was probably one of the biggest things that attracted to me once I started figuring out this. And I wish I would have known Dean Hankey many years ago, but when I started stumbling on the fact when I started giving away these free and easy money shows, how easy it was, man, there's no stopping you, because then it's like, where do I want to go? Well, I'll just book one there.
That's right.
Wherever.
Yep.
Right.
That's what I'm doing. I'm going up to Oregon to see our grandbaby and our daughter-in-law graduate from high school and college, respectively. And we'll spend 2.5 weeks up there, but I'll book a gig or two. You know, spend a couple hours, make I certainly don't know how much I'll make, but, you know, it'll definitely be a couple of zeros behind the comma, you know, a couple of three or four zeros, maybe even five.
I've always booked a couple $1,000 in sponsorships while I'm on vacation or as part of a journey. You're there. Why not make something happen?
And I will book that, and as well as I will book, you know, return, because I'm going to only be there for 2.5 weeks or something. So I'll squeeze something in while I'm there.
Well, see, that's the beauty too, because you have the urgency already built right in, right?
That's right. I'm only here. I leave on the 10th, and I'll be
planes
gone.
Leaving with or without me. You're right. So the planes leaving.
That's right. Exactly. We're driving, but it's the same thing. It's you know. So, and Aaron lives up that way, and so we'll get together with Aaron and do some stuff, and you know, do all the family stuff, do all the sightseeing stuff, go out to the coast, and get paid while we're doing it. Not a bad living or lifestyle, not even a living, better than a living. So Terry understands that. He gets to travel wherever he wants and gets paid to go where he wants and travel, you know.
I go to a lot of places I don't want to go, but I still
and that too, you know.
No, but it's still your choice, though. But
I'm not going to say I play a lot of little bitty towns all over the United States. So.
And you know something, my friend? That's the best spot there is, because I have seen, after having done 11,000 shows of my own, I know that these little itty bitty towns will draw more ticket sales than any big city you can put yourself into. And I've had times where I went to big cities, rented big venues that cost thousands of dollars, and lucky to get out alive. And I went an hour out of way, did a little school venue, and put $7,000 in my pocket, right? No risk, no hassle, right?
Yep. I definitely feel with the fairs, at least, that the smaller the fairs, it seems like I have a larger impact upon the fair, and I get much more. I get a lot of repeat bookings anyway, but it seems like with the smaller fairs, I leave more of an impact with the fair and people who see me, and they tend to draw me back more and more. So, I mean, I still got big fairs, like Del Mar Fair is 25 days. It's starting next year. I've been doing it since 1985. So, but the little bitty fairs, when I'm on the road, they're the ones that seem to really appreciate me and want to bring me back and rebook me right then and stuff. So,
you know, and I don't want to take away from this call this way, but when you start getting into sponsorships, you'll find that those little itty bitty sponsors in those little itty bitty towns will write those pretty fat checks more so than the big players in the big towns. So, don't let anyone tell you anything different,
Absolutely.
my friend.
Less competition for that same discretionary cash. Or so,
and it's and these small towns, it's a big thing that the fair's coming. It's a big thing. Everybody's going and everybody supports it, and
I really like the fact that people will look forward to seeing me year after year, and they come to see me, and I come looking forward to seeing them. I like that. I like that yearly sort of thing where the people are like, "Oh, is the magician going to be there this year?" You know, I mean, and so I really like that. I like, seeing the little kids grow up and get older, and I like that raving fan sort of mentality. That's what I strive for. I like that. So.
Yep, absolutely. Yep. It's nice for sure, nice to have that. And again, there's less to do. I mean, when we tour touring productions through the stuff, even when I do a business event in a small town like that, we'll go into this one small town out in rural Nevada. They've got less than 3,000 people in the entire community, and that's, by the way, that's spanced out over many miles, because very rural, big farms, lots of farming and agriculture and stuff like that. But we'll get 5,000 to 10,000 people at the fair, and I'll get, easily, hands down, I'll get for a business function where there's maybe 100 businesses throughout the entire area, and some people, by the way, operating out of their homes and stuff like that. We'll get hundreds of people at an event because nobody else goes through those towns.
I've had towns where there's only been 8 businesses in an entire town.
Yep.
And did $4,000 in sponsorship money, because each of those 8 businesses would pony up $500 to bring something to the town. That's finally right. That will serve these schools and the food bank and this cause and this cause and that cause. And it's like, there's only 8 of you here, so are we going to make this happen or not? And they all like, okay, what do we got to do, right?
Right.
But they have a vested interest, whereas you could go to a city with 1,000 businesses, you might have to knock on 100 doors to get 8 interested. But
yep.
So yep. They're more connected to their community. Also in the big centers, people don't even know people who live on the end of the street or end of the block. But in a small community, everybody knows everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good thing. So.
Right. Exactly. Well, a very good evening. And so, hey, Terry, why don't you get us started? How you doing, brother? And how are things?
I'm doing good. And just so people know, I'm going to kind of talk and then get off the call because my wife's leaving town tomorrow. I wanted to go do some stuff with her before she takes off. So
the nerve of the man falling in love with his own wife.
I know. Well, I think I'm used to leaving. I'm the guy that's usually leaving town. So it's weird having her leave. So I'm more like, wait a minute, I got to stay home and work now. What's going on here? So anyway, so I just wanted to talk that I made my 10 phone calls, which I made a little video. That morning I just went through my little went on the Chula Vista District School base and picked out 10 of the closest schools to my house. I figured that's where I'm going to start, and printed them up on my thing, and then just with Bluetooth was driving down the road. I'm stuck on the freeway. I knew I was going to be stuck, and I just started making phone calls and didn't really talk to anybody too much, didn't get any return phone calls, but made 10 phone calls. And basically my presentation was, I think I remember somewhere in there you guys talk about donating. And so I called and said, I'm a small businessman. I live right here in town. I know right where you are. I'm close to your school, and I have 1 week open in September. I want to donate my services. And that was kind of maybe good, maybe bad, because they'd start asking me, what is it you want to donate? And I told them, I'm a school facility performer, but I have a lot of more services I'd like to bring to your school. I like to talk to the principal and make an appointment and come in and talk. And that was basically kind of what it went. So. Right.
Good.
Is it?
10 is better than nothing. And by the way, those will result in something, even if it's, referrals or recommendations, or while you're out and about generating more leads, or, certainly talking to local area champions and saying, in September, I'm going to be doing, helping a couple of schools in the area that will be accepting my program. And, even before you get one booked. And then when you go back to them, you'll be able to leverage, the fact that, hey, I've got this business and this business. I've got other, local business owners already on board. I'm working with the food bank and working with the Boys and Girls Club, or the, the local hospital, which your wife happens to work at, and, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, the schools are about to get out of school here, so I'm not going to probably talk to the schools too much. But I am with the Del Mar Fair starting next week. I am going to be talking and doing a thing at the fair, mentioning that I've got this 1 week where I'm going to be in town and I can help out some schools if anybody's talking to me. So that's what I'd say. My biggest issue is finding the time to do it, because I'm out on the road doing all these fairs and stuff.
Well, getting on the phone while you're
so I did
on the road is certainly fine.
And the other thing is too, Terry, since you're doing the fair so much, Like, and that's a big part of your business. You know, I did the fair circuit for many years.
Right.
And what I did when I was doing the huge fairs is I leveraged the schools, maybe not as a free and easy money evening show, but I was able to attract thousands of dollars in sponsorship money. But I would tell the sponsors that I would come into the schools while I'm at the fair,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I'd invite those kids back to the fair. So I would leverage all that together. So it helped the fair to build my attendance, because when I went to the elementary schools for the free assembly show that the sponsors were paying for, I was also mentioning that at the fair, I'm going to do this, you know, the 3 seats. You're going to see me do this. You're going to see me do this. You're going to see me do that I'm not able to do at the school. And I would leverage it that way, opposed to coming back and selling tickets for the evening show. Come and see me at the fair.
Yep.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And what the fair did, the fair would offer me way more money because I was giving them something that no entertainer even suggested to them or even offered or even could do. But the fact that I could get these schools on demand, that I'd say, look, you want me to book 5 schools? I'll just call them and I'll arrange it. And they never said no, because when I went to them and said, look, I'm working with the fair. I'm one of the headliners there. I'm working with Bob Smith or Joanne, whoever. And I thought, as part and parcel, I'd like to come in and donate this to you on behalf of the fair and behalf of the sponsors. And some of those shows, I even involved the Dairy Princess or the Farm Princess or the Fair Ambassador or whatever you want to call them. They come with me. I did a 25-minute magic show. In the last 4 or 5 minutes, we talked about the fair, introduced the princess or the fair ambassador, who said a few words about the fair. And it was win, 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 win. I got way more as an entertainer by doing those fairs, by involving the schools, both from the fair and the sponsors, right?
Right.
I haven't done the sponsor thing yet, but I did do the thing where a couple of the fairs this year had me actually pay me to go out and do performances for them, since you guys suggested that. But it was on the fairs, you know, bill, you know.
No, but why not do that? Why not? That way,
it was great.
Okay, and the thing is too is once you did a number of those, then it's nice to go in and do that free half-hour assembly show by giving them value and say, look, I'm going to be coming back here next year. Why don't I do an evening program, or why don't we do it another time or whatever? But now you have an in. They already know, like, and trust you. You've already served their school.
Mm-hmm.
And you're getting paid by the fair or sponsors or whatever, how you deem to get paid by those free assembly shows.
Yeah.
Right?
I think the sponsorship is probably even a better way to go with the fairs instead of asking them for money. But
why not do both? Why not do? I do both. I never pick one. Why would you not do both? Right? Yep.
Instead of $3,000 to $10,000 or several $1,000s a school, we can whatever you can afford. Plus, because we have the generosity of some local business owners and sponsors, we're taking care of that. And by the way, Mary put there that just because school is out does not mean that you can't book shows and that you can't book dates in the schools. Most of my school dates come from summer conversations with
Oh yes. In fact, sometimes it's easier to get access to the principal. And Gene and I had this conversation a couple of days ago. We talked about this. Mm-hmm. Whereas when you go in and during school's in session, many times the principal's in the suit and tie, and the secretary coming in every 5 minutes asking a question. The phone's ringing. The students are emergency in the playground. Many times you call him in the summer. He's like, "Yeah, I'm here. Come over tomorrow," and you'll go there, and he'll be in a t-shirt and a tracksuit or laid back, right? Because they're in there for the summer, right? They're interviewing new staff and going over the curriculum and doing whatever they're doing. But
okay, well, that's good to know. Yeah.
And I presented like I know during the year how busy you are with running the school. So I thought perhaps in the summer you would have 15 minutes. I'll slide in for 10, 15, 20 minutes. You don't have all the students to worry about. I know it's probably an easier time for you. And, in this way over the summer, I can work behind the scenes, like once I met with them, right? Saying that I would urge them to pick a date for the upcoming school season. And while you're getting school underway and all that, I'll be working behind the scenes. I'll get the posters done and the tickets and the flyers and blah, 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 right? Over the summer. So that way you don't got to worry about it. School, we'll pick the date now. So September comes where it's already ready to go, right?
Exactly. Free and easy. Very, very cool.
And I know normally I wouldn't contact you over the summer, but this is so important. I didn't want you to miss. If I waited till September, you might have missed out. Mm-hmm. That's why I'm calling you now, right?
Right. Yep. And again, it's not the slick sales presentation. It's just go and have a conversation with these schools and see if it's a match. I always go with the intention that I'm going to see if it's a match, because I'm interviewing them as much as they're interviewing me, as by the way, because I may find out that, hey, it's too small a school, or that they
and probably even more so, like you're saying that, you're interviewing them as much as they're interviewing you. We're probably interviewing them more so because we're the one foot in the bill, right?
That's
Pretty much. We're doing all the heavy lifting. So I've met with a lot of principals who decided, no thanks. I decided this ain't for us, for me or my team or whatever, you know?
Exactly.
Lots of times.
So
walk away.
very cool. Rock on, man.
Okay. Well, that's what I got. So thanks a lot.
All right, brother.
Okay. See you guys.
Check you soon. The lovely, the talented, the Mary. How are you tonight?
I'm waiting for May to get over. I'm very tired, but I'm good.
Is May not a big magical time for you?
It's very busy, yeah.
Uh-huh.
No, but as much like I was saying on the thing, I couldn't make a lot of calls. I don't have a lot of time to make calls to the schools, but even just sitting around and following up on the old schools, I mean, these opportunities just come to you. So I had a great meeting with a big mega church to hopefully help them with their charity, but they're saying they're not quite sure on dates and what's going on with the charity, but they said, well, even if we don't do that, we'll probably just have you come in and do a night with just for our own church families. We have 700 kids. I'm like, okay, I guess I could handle that.
Right. Well, remember, it's not their event; it's your event.
Oh yeah,
and they're just benefactors to the degree that they make they might get a donation in cash from you or donation from you. So
I figured it's a good stepping stone that they could see what I do, and then then we could be more prepared for when the next charity comes around. I could do something else, because I wouldn't even be going into the schools if they just do it for their own church. Like I said, 750 kids in their program. It's not such a bad payday. So
yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I did notice though, because I did mention that there were no minimums on the show, and I think that's where it kind of turned, where she's like, oh, okay, well, maybe we could use you for our church. So my caution is to be careful when you tell them that if only 10 people buy the tickets, we'll still be there, because then they're like, oh, okay, well, I guess that's where you say where you judge them also.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it's a for lack of better description, it's an application process. Mm-hmm. And not every group, not every church, not every school, not every organization qualifies. Hey, and if it might be a co-sponsored event. You might be working in tandem with a couple of the other, whatever kind of church they are. If they're evangelical, of sometimes traditional Christian, or if they're Catholic, or if they're a Protestant or something. Hey, we'll be working with the other like churches. I'm not saying niche, but whatever, evangelical.
Them a little bit.
Yeah, because some of them don't play well together. If they're if they're just as long as you know what those are.
Yeah, sounds like we met the same people.
I was talking to this one school that they're the dad that just had the baby, and I don't know why he was even talking to me, but I was mentioning, I'm like, yeah, I would like to bolster, the ticket sales by, we're going to take care of this small school over here and this small school over here. And he started going, oh, well, we don't really get along with them. And I don't think, the junior high is they're too old to come to the show. And I'm just like,
Not their event. It's not their event.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That's the other thing is once it's clear to them that you're there to assist them on your terms. Now, if they want to pay you your full rack rate, then they can control any and every aspect of the program, based on your availability.
But you're expensive.
But you're expensive. Right. Exactly. You know, so if they want to hire you, they get veto and decision making, and you know who gets to play along and who doesn't. If it's your event, it's your event. That's it. End of story. You know, and again, that's that confidence thing. Is just understanding you don't need them. They need you. Mm-hmm. Listen, they want the free and easy, no risk money that you have to offer. This is not, you know, I mean, notice how when they found out that, you know, that you can help raise money or provide low to no fee shows, they're saying, oh, well, maybe we'll have you for our church, and maybe we'll have you for our youth group, and maybe we'll have you for our parent teacher thing. And then, you know, I promise you they're scheming for ways. Mm-hmm. So, and that's fine.
And 90% of those, you wouldn't make 5 cents, but it's a matter of picking and choosing and presenting it in a way where we are offering them free and easy, no money. But at the same token, we're making our fair dollar for our efforts invested as well.
To follow the plan. In other words, they don't just get a free show. That's just not the way it works. Yeah. They get a free show if they do A, B, C, and D, which is, by the way, make the announcements and push out to the list and, you know, all the stuff that we've been outlining, right? So that's good. Yeah. Reminder to yeah. Here's the thing, and one thing I'll say this exact phrase all the time. Here's the good news. My covenant commitment to you is that it's got to be a win-win deal. It's win-win or no play. Is that fair? In other words, we want everybody to win. I want you to win. I want your audience to win. And of course, as a business owner, I have to win. Right? Mm-hmm. So no big deal. Everybody, you know, nobody wants to, they don't want to maliciously take advantage. They'll take whatever free offer you make them, but they're not going, aha, let's see if we can, you know, screw this ferry over here. You know, they're just saying, how can I get a cool free show for my church youth or family or whatever group that is? And, you know, hey, that's part of the deal. And say, great, you know, introduce us, help us with, you know, getting the nonprofits and you know, however you're going to partner to make it happen.
Mm-hmm. You know, and there's times when you meet with them, they'll say, well, could you do this? Mm-hmm. And you could say, yeah, I could do that. And they could say, could you do this? No, I can't do that, but I could do this. And they're like, okay. And you just work it out so that it's win-win, like Dean said, right? Because you said, well, that way that I can't do, but I could do this, I could do that, I could do this if you did that, or I could do this if you did that. And then I'm like, okay, that's fair. Yeah. Right. And sometimes they'll come up with ideas that we never even thought of, like, wow, that's a good idea. Right. That happens a lot. And sometimes we take those ideas and go, that was such a great idea. I'm going to recommend this to all the principals I meet with. And that's how we learned 90% of this was a little here and a little here and a little here and a little there.
That's right. That's right. And also, again, they have influence and relationships that you don't have. And that's why if you just start doing these things, then all of a sudden you'll see, wow, this really is easy if I just get out of the way and do it and just find people to help. And then here's the good news. Once they feel helped, they're going to help you help themselves and other groups. You know, says, hey, we had this group. And if, you know, I mean, one of the things is, hey, how would you like to give, you know, how'd you like to make even more money? And by the way, if you recommend or refer, I will do, you know, I do spin-off bonuses. I do, you know, I am unabashed when it comes to sharing the wealth, because I know that they need, you know, I mean, I'll have a group who wants to follow me around at every event I do in all of Northern Nevada area. They will follow me around and they will work their behind off for their percentage of the results they produce. Because and I have a couple of nonprofit groups in the area that their only source of revenue, other than their measly little spaghetti dinner, and which by the way is crappy, and I mean not crappy, I mean money wise, and it's really more of a thank you to the people that do support them, and they follow me all over Northern Nevada, and they make their several hundred to several $1,000s at any given event, and they're just happy, pleased as punch to be a ongoing partner.
That's a great tip.
So, yeah, very simple. Again, we as human beings have a tendency to overcomplicate what is very, 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 did I say very? I meant very, very simple otherwise. Just go talk to people and see if you can help them. That's it. I mean, really, there's no slick. I mean, we've given you the sales script, but honestly, I would ignore it as you have, which is perfect, by the way. So,
and the same strategy works for sponsors too. You're basically working at win-win opportunities, right?
Yep. And because I'm interviewing them as much as they're interviewing me, and they know that, they get that feeling, by the way. They don't feel like, hey man, he's checking me out. They go, wow, he's just looking to see if it's a match. Instead of trying to sell me anything. And by the way, I'm constantly telling them, saying, listen, I'm not even sure there's going to be a win for you. I want to make sure if it's not a win for both of us, it's a no play. No big deal. You might know somebody who this might be a better match for. And they go, well, wait a minute. If I'm going to refer you to my neighbor next door, my brother who owns the business down the street, I'm going to get involved. And they start selling themselves, you start getting away.
And there's times too when I know, especially with Dean and I, where we are very precise on we have 1 day or we have 2 days available and that's it. And many times that is the case. I've had times where the deal fell apart where it was a match, it was just the wrong time. They're like, man, if you could have been here 1 day earlier, 1 day later, we could do this. I'm like, man, that's not possible because I'm already booked over here. Right. But since this is a match, it's not the right time. Right. Let's look at this again, or let's pick a date on my next trip, or 6 months down the road, or a year in advance, or 2 years in advance, and booked a ton of deals like that where because I reached out to them, it was a match, but it wasn't the wrong time. And you can follow up another time, or so like I'll catch it on the way through back again, or whatever. But it's still nothing wasted there for sure.
Just like this trip, I'll be making to Oregon for family and stuff, and I only have so long. That's it. End of story. I have this window, if you want to do something, here it is. No big deal. I have family here. I might be back. Don't know when yet, but but right now we're doing something on Thursday and it's going to be Broadway Business Center. That's where it is. Already got the facility already taken care of. That's already done, and I haven't even been up there. So easy peasy, fresh and breezy. So, yes, who would like to go next?
Mr. Alaska.
Mr.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Sorry, I missed last week's meeting. I was stuck on an island that was right off the coast of Russia. There are parts in Alaska that you can actually see Russia across the water. She wasn't crazy.
All right.
Yeah. I got stuck out there, some small little village of 300 people, and
wow.
Weather got bad, couldn't fly back. Anyways,
yeah. Our stepdaughter is getting an incredible offer to go teach up there. I mean, incredible, like massive money, massive perks, massive benefits, health insurance. I mean, just for the whole family. I mean,
where at?
I'm sure one of the smaller villages.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they pay big bucks for people to come out, and they really struggle with bringing out qualified educators out there and stuff like that. Yep. They house them and stuff like that.
Oh, we might have another lead for you when.
It's definitely a culture shock. So I wish her the best.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways,
yep.
I'm doing good. I had my last free and easy family fun night.
Yeah.
I'm pretty self-critical, so. It went good.
Right.
But when we spoke to the principal afterwards, she wasn't as happy as I would have liked her to be. And has nothing to do with the process. It had to do with our show. When we did this, when we created the assembly show and the nighttime show, we had it in mind. And this is just so weird because the first school that we serviced, they didn't have anything negative to say about the nighttime show. The second school that we did, when we did the nighttime show, we wanted to try to cater and target the adults as well as the children. So, and I learned a few lessons there. For one, the principal came up to us and she said, we're going to have all the kids sit on the floor up front for you guys. And that immediately set off a red flag. And I said, I'm not sure if that's a good idea. She says, well, why not? I said, well, you know, during school, they know that, you know, it's time to pay attention to the rules. There's teachers there to help monitor them. But if you sit all the kids in the front and the parents are all in the back, it's just going to, I think it'll be hard to keep them under. Well, the problem is we only have like 150 chairs and we don't want people standing. So we're going to have the kids in the front. And she said, that's not going to be a problem, is it? I said, you know, so I said my piece but lesson learned. It didn't take away from the show, but it did kind of break the flow sometimes because we had, you know, to stop and say, hey, you guys back up a little bit, crisscross applesauce, have a seat. There was some poor lady, she was like a human hook that comes and pulls, you know, people off the stage. A little 2-year-old would come running up. Oh, hey, where'd you come from? And this lady was just on it. She just
Miguel, one of the things that I've had this happen to me lots of times where for some reason they had to put the kids in the front, you know, because of the thing. But what I've done in those cases is just take a simple roll of even masking tape and map out on the floor. This is, you know, you cannot come. So I actually mapped out the masking tape right on the floor, even if I had to do it right during the show, even just a quick boom. There you go. This is, you can come to this point. The show's on this side. Here's where you sit. And there's a very clear boundary because I used to always use the tigers and that in the show. Obviously, there was a problem with being too close, but also we would put one down the center aisle. This aisle must remain free, but it was mapped out even with masking tape that this is where you can't be. And I think because otherwise, if you just say there's no boundary, it's hard to contain them that way. But just a quick suggestion there. But
one of the ideas that I had seen somebody else do, I can't remember where, actually sell the caution tape that you roll out, but it says caution magician working or something like that. It's magic related. Sure. So we're going to get some uprights so we can, you know, actually have a more visual physical barrier to keep them where they need to be. Yeah, it provided for some, like I said, breaking the flow. And I did get a laugh out of it. I was doing an effect with a kid and I turned around and they're using a wand. Turned around, there's like a 2-year-old standing there looking at me, and I jumped, you know, just mugging for him. But I jumped, you know, like, you know, where'd you come from? And then I had the wand, and you know, like as if the wand did it. In context, it was great, but it got a big old laugh and everything. So, but that kind of just you know, I want my shows to flow great, and it bothered me that it didn't go as smooth as I would have wanted it to because of
that's life. You're always going to want better, and that's great.
Absolutely.
You know, and that's you know, good on you, because that makes you a better performer, better presenter, better conscientious. But every one of those things, you write those down, and now you know next time you pre-frame. Remember, the pre-frame, frame, and reframe is everything. Pre-frame, frame, and reframe. So you simply pre-frame, and the best part about the family fun night in a week and a half is that the families all get to sit together enjoying a family fun night. This is not just a kids show. This is not just, we want the families to sit together, because we find that parents and families have a much better time when they sit together. And then it's not even an option in their minds.
Right.
I started doing that, you know, and I would say, you know, I'd have the older kids and the younger kids sit on the floor sometimes. And I even have some of the younger parents come and sit on the floor with their kids. But I would always make sure that, hey, this is a family fun night. And and then that never was a problem ever since. And they understood why, because that's all they care about. You know, once they've made up their mind, it's pretty hard to, but if you've change their mind. But if you've established the best protocol.
This is how we do it.
This is how we do it.
Yeah.
How we do it, baby.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that was the difference between the first show and the second one. That was one of the issues. Another issue was when we asked her, so what did you think of the show? Did you like it and stuff like that? She didn't. She went, it's just that your assembly show was just so bam, 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 bam. And I said, oh, okay. She goes, yeah, I just had a couple times when the kids would come back and ask me, well, when are we going to see Wiggles, which is a bunny that we use in the show. And it made me think about it. My partner's like, well, you know, the other people didn't say anything, but I'm not like that. You know, I'm going to take the criticism and think about it. And I think what it was is, and I talked to my wife and some other people whose opinions I respect. The assembly show was great. We kill it with the assembly show. It's got effect, lots of energy, lots of we built it like that to keep the kids engaged. And the parents, or not the parents, the teachers and the principal loved that show. And I think when we tried to tip the scales towards keeping the kids and the parents engaged, some of the material just kind of glazed over the kids, and that's when they would get a little bit restless.
Yeah, here's the basic truth when it comes to entertaining families. When they go to a show like that, I promise you the parents aren't there for themselves.
Right.
You make the parents happy, make the kids happy.
Exactly. That's exactly what I took away from that is I talked to my partner. I said, look, we need to change up that evening show. I think the reason why we were so successful at the assembly show and what we need to try to replicate it in our nighttime show is, and my wife said this, she goes, she said exactly what you said. She says, if I go to a magic show at my kid's school, I expect for it to be for my kids. She said, and then it just made me realize if we can rock it with the kids, even if the material is not as sophisticated and maybe doesn't fool adults, the entertainment value is in watching their kids have a great time.
Exactly.
Watching us, slay the kids. So that's something we're gonna work on. And
for many of these kids, it will be their first magic show they've ever attended, and many parents remember their first magic show and seeing the magic, and they want their kids to experience the magic for them.
Right.
And remember, it's not about, I promise you, the first live magic show I ever saw was a school show fundraiser, as it turns out. Great. I've told the story a zillion times. Ben Toussaint. And I thought he was the best thing. He levitated 3 people on stage at the same time. He thought that just doing more was better. I went back and I idolized that guy. And then we ended up becoming friends years later and stuff like that. And I went back to his show. And it was horrible. It was the most hideous, offensive. I mean, to my sensibilities, he wasn't offensive, but it was just a terrible show.
Yeah.
But he made hundreds of thousands of dollars. He drove up in a brand new Cadillac every single year. He had one big box truck loaded with these illusions, and they were homemade, hand slathered with paint. I mean, it was just again, three levitations. He levitated his daughter, his son, and an audience volunteer. And it was, when I saw it, I thought, oh, I can hardly wait to see this. This was, because I just had all these wonderful memories. And I saw it and I went, wait a minute. wait, who are you and what have you done with Ben Toussaint?
Yeah.
The guy I remember as a kid,
Yeah.
Because he was an old Carney guy. He was an old Carney huckster from the whole, I mean, he was the guy where I got the idea of showing up in ruffly shirt, and a top hat and tails and a red line black cape. And, and he walks in and goes, I'm here, and he did all this stuff. I figured it worked for him. It worked for me. Right. And I was in kindergarten or something. I know it was second grade, but whatever it was. And, so I promise you it's not, I mean, certainly don't be offensive to the families. Don't do it so kiddie, but,
right.
Obviously if you can satisfy K through 8 or K through 6,
right,
satisfy the entire audience. And, and please remember, this is not about the show. They're getting free show regardless, and they're getting paid.
Right.
So all of that stuff. And again, I'm saying be better, do better, and be better again. Right. So great. Right. Good on you. But don't.
And Miguel too, and I got to tell you this too, okay? You could take that same show that did not go over quite as well, but this is probably the first time you did it that way. I bet you if you did 5 or 10 schools,
right,
doing even the exact same program, you'll see a big difference in the 3rd or 5th or 8th time you've done it, more so than the first time. The same show, the same script, the same everything.
Yep.
Just your confidence level, the way you present it, probably was that much better too.
Yeah.
But
do some of the stuff you did in the assembly. Because when was the last time you went to a concert from your favorite band and they didn't do all the hits they were best recognized for? So, feel free to do some of your greatest hits.
Right.
They like Mr. Wiggles or whatever.
Because the thing is, the kids want to show their parents those parts because that's the part they enjoyed. They probably already told the parents about Wiggles and the certain tricks 100 times already in the last 24 hours.
Right.
Yeah.
But now they want their parents to see that too, what they saw, right?
And so you were saying, Michael, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. No, I just was saying the material we had done 100 times before. I think we just targeted, like, that show would kill for adults. You know what I mean? Pure adults, because we've done those tricks over and over again. It wasn't really a confidence thing. I think it was just we hadn't planned out how it would be, because we try to sprinkle some adult stuff. Not adult, but more sophisticated stuff with some kiddie stuff, and try to break it up to keep the adults engaged. But I mean, we would ask for an older volunteer, no hands. You know what I mean? Or our kid, they assumed, and the kids assumed the whole thing was going to be for the kids. So it was a good lesson learned, which is fine. We'll take that show and do it somewhere else, and it'll be great. We just need to, like I said, get back to the basics. In our assembly show, what did have some great effects that fooled the kids. Right. I mean, fooled the adults as well. But yeah, we just need to learn from that. And
good. You're talking about the show, but what about the
results,
the free money part, and the results, and how did that all pan out for you?
We raised $1,800.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah, it was a little bit over 1,800. Thank you, sir.
You did 2 shows,
it was a little bit over 1,800. She was happy. She was definitely happy with that. So yeah,
So yeah.
And trust me, if they had 2 options, one where the show was brilliant and it cost them $500, and the second one was average or better, a little better than average, where they made $1,800, guess what's where they're going to book back again?
Right. Yeah. No, we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna kill it next year. I know we are, because that's just me. I don't like.
And how much did you learn just in doing those 2 sets of shows? Not only about the show, about audience management, about managing expectations, which, by the way, is a big portion of what we do with the families and the principals and the children, because when they come back, we've given a whole list of CCT things that they're going to see if they come back. They're going to see, the principal get their head cut off or whatever you promise, obviously.
Right.
And they're going to see, all this stuff. And so it's success is about managing and advancing people's expectations. That's really what success in business is all about. If you give them what they expect, they'll go, that's what I expected. If you, overpromise, get them excited, and then over-deliver over and above that, then they go, wow, he promised a lot, but holy crap. Yeah. That's all expectations. It's all success is about managing expectations. Yeah. As long as you can do that, you are golden.
And that's in any business.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. In any business. Absolutely. Yeah. Especially in the entertainment business, because it's ambiguous. You're dealing with, opinions like, oh yeah, that show wasn't, that's why I stopped booking comedians, because, guys and gals that I think are freaking hysterical, I walk out of there with sore rib cage because I laughed my keister off. I literally had to pick up my butt off the floor because I was laughing so hard. And the booker, and everybody's laughing in the entire audience, and the booker goes, yeah, he was all right. He didn't make me laugh, right? It's too subjective, excuse me.
Yeah.
Yep. So that entertainment is that way. So again, overpromise and way overdeliver, and you'll be you'll be right as rain.
Yeah. Followed up with the thank you notes with a little Starbucks gift card. Thanking them for allowing us to come over to the school. And
you will be, and remember, and I hope you got some testimonials, or at least capture some excitement on video of the audience or the show, or. And while they were genuinely excited, got them jacked up about, saying, hey, next year, man, I'm going to help you get into all the schools. And,
one of that school, when we did the assembly show, the videographer guy from
from the school who does the video yearbook.
Oh, good.
Came up to us. Oh man, we please, would you say something, do something, introduce your guys' selves, say something for the school. Thanks for having us out. And if you got something quick, do something quick. And we did it in one take. The guy loved it. I say, he's Robbie Cannon, I'm Michael Moon or whatever, blah, blah. And we, said a message about, look, I did it off the cuff, finding magic and everything or whatever. As I'm talking, pulled a little hanky out, stuffed it in the hand, and blah, 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 bang.
Right.
And have a great year and an even better summer. And he was like, that was awesome. I said, yeah, I need a copy of that, please.
Right.
So he's going to send me some video of that. And
and get him on as one of your sponsors. He'll follow you around to some of the other schools and get you, and then edit it together for you and get you a killer demo.
Yeah. So got a video testimonial, 5-star written testimonial. That guy's really liked it. He's going to write me a testimonial and send me some of that video footage and stuff like that.
Yeah. Did you offer any merchandising?
No, we were keeping it simple on this one. We just wanted to focus on knocking it out, but
fine. Yep. Again, imagine how much if you'd done, for instance, 1 6-spot card for only $100. That would have been an extra $600 in your pocket,
right?
Over and above the the money, and or of course another $200 or $300 in merch. So then all of a sudden now it's $1,000 over and above. That's again without any real sponsors. And I mean, the emergency guide is hardly, when it's outside of the school, that is one of my most coveted things because I position the crap out of that thing. I say, because that's going to end up in the most coveted art center in all of town, the family refrigerator, Yeah. On the wall in their home, someplace. It's going to end up someplace in a prime position in their home. And so I saved that for my platinum champions. Yeah. And outside of the school, in the school.
But the Abracadabra book is all you need too. The Abracadabra book is more than enough to get started. And that or the guide or conjunction with or give them both or whatever you need to do, right?
Yep. Start even with $100 from your emergency guide. And then, throw in a little bit of merchandising. Don't have to do anything fancy schmancy. And, that's extra money.
Yeah, we don't want to let the show sit stagnant. I'm going to start picking up and doing a lot of traveling this summer. But in between my my trips, we want to service Boys and Girls Club or something like that with that.
Perfect. Yep. And remember, wherever you travel, it's an opportunity to shake hands and kiss babies and help groups and organizations, and just say, hey, I may not have time this year, but I'm sure we'll be back up through this way, or while I'm here, you have more than a couple of days, I'm going to be here this day. I'm on the plane, in the car, whatever, I'm out of town. I have 3 hours on Wednesday night and I have an hour on Monday morning. First one to say yes gets the money.
Yeah.
No pressure to anyone. Take as long as you
need.
Big
deal.
Take as long as you want to think about it. But I am looking. That's what I have. When they're gone, they're gone.
Yep.
I spoke with tomorrow. I have 4 shows. I'm going to be facing 200 preschoolers. Oh,
right.
It's a Little Buddies character development, Be Kind to Others magic show.
Cool.
I talked to the lady. It's a native Cook Inlet Native Head Start program, and I was telling her about it, and she told me, I don't know how accurate this is. She's the director of the place, so I would assume she knows what she's talking about. She's like, we can't do typical fundraisers like that because because of the funding we get from the government or something like that. We're not allowed to have fundraisers.
That's fine. No big deal.
Yeah.
They might be a recipient of one of the free promotional shows.
Right. Yeah.
To promote an event over at the high school or over at the Boys and Girls Club or over at the, Veterans Hall or over at the, Rotary or Kiwanis or Kinsman's Club or whatever,
I've had times too where the school couldn't sell tickets because they couldn't have another fundraiser, but I could sell tickets and make them a donation if they would accept a donation on my behalf. If I wanted to donate them $1,000 or $500 as a donation, right?
Yeah.
I've sold tickets. I did all the lifting. I put on the event.
That's right.
I gave them 50%. Same thing, but that was not a fundraiser.
Right. Yeah.
It's free and easy money.
Yep, absolutely.
Call it whatever you
When we
want.
were on tour, I would pay schools to let me come in and do shows for them
Oh,
because I knew what it meant. For me,
exactly.
you know, when we were on tour and we were out in the middle of nowhere, Idaho, you know, and you know, and you know, I'm every time I know it's going to work because I've seen it work literally thousands upon thousands upon thousands of times. I still go, hope we sell out or hope we get enough people, you know, and once it great. Wow. We won't make it won't be, you know, actually I've never not done, except for one school, never not done 2 show nights, you know, but I still think about it. I still think about it every time. Claude, after 30 years, 35 years of doing this, do you still wonder if people are going to show up?
Oh, of course I do. And yeah, I don't know why, because they've done it 8,000 times.
Right.
But I've done what you said too, not a lot of times, but I when I was doing the high school circuits,
Sure.
when I was traveling nationally and I had dates to fill, I've had times where I met with a principal of a high school, and I said, in your cut will be like 1,000 to 2,500. They're like, well, I find that hard to believe. I've given high schools a 500. Well, here's 500 already to show you good faith. Let's pick the date, because I knew that when I did the high school event, I was going to make $5,000.
Right.
So if I had to give them 500 up front to show I'm serious,
Yep.
whatever, right?
Yep.
That's
I mean,
smart.
I'd walk into a school and know that I had an auditorium or arena booked, you know, or it was booked. I never paid for it, but it was booked, and I'd go, and there was like only 3 or 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 schools, and I'd get a principal to go, well, and I'd say, well, don't worry, just let me know who to make the check out to. And they go, what?
Yeah.
I go, yeah, I want to make a check. I want to make a donation to either your favorite cause or the school or a special fund at the school, or if you have an emergency principals fund, I want to.
Yeah,
I just wanna
providing
make you guys
providing we can pick the date right now to get this going, right? You know,
and then
and
I never even said how much, you know, and
Yeah,
sometimes they go, oh, really? Yeah. And then you know, sometimes I'd give them as much as $100 to book me to make that decision right now.
Uh-huh.
So
knowing very well that you could leave there and in 22 minutes you could have that money back again from a sponsor across the street,
that's right.
or another partner somewhere,
That's right.
or leverage it some other way.
As I'm driving away from the school that day, I drive up and down the street right across or right within a mile of that school and say, I'm going to be at this school tomorrow. You might want to participate.
Yeah.
And they go, oh, that's good for $500, or that's good for $5,000, or that's good for whatever. And yeah, I've already made a donation to the school, and I'll be back making a larger donation tomorrow morning, which by the way,
exactly. Because this is happening.
That's right. This is happening.
I put
And
my own
by
money.
the way, if you can show up, I will make sure you get introduced from the front of the room.
Exactly.
People that help make this happen. It's seriously, this never leave the side of a human interaction without creating value. By the way, I never sell anything. I just help people. Leverage everything, which is what we're talking about. And if you breathe, record it. And that's a latecomer, by the way. You know, that's only since the advent of digital technology, right?
You know something? I made an elephant disappear 300 times, and I never put that in video one time.
Yeah.
I don't even have a video. Made the elephant disappear. I did the largest shopping mall in the world for 140,000 people and never put it on video.
Yeah.
So dumb.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Right. Yeah.
No, lots of those.
Learn from our mistakes.
Oh yeah.
Trained elephant from.
What's that?
I said, where do you get a trained elephant from, Claude? That's amazing.
No, and I did that 300 times and never videoed it one time.
No.
We're doing it every day. You think it's just what we do. You never really think of the importance of being able to have that, right?
Yeah.
No, seriously, you take it for granted. I mean, you laugh. It was no big deal. It's what we did.
That's right. That's exactly right. Yep. I wish I had a camera or somebody who took a camera. Many things oh my gosh, nuts. So, Brother Joe, how are you doing? How are things going? I know you just had your event this weekend, speaking event.
Yes, I did.
I understand it was a rock star turnout.
Which rock star?
Yeah. Bare naked ladies? I don't know.
It was okay. Dean and I talked about this, and I don't mind telling you all about it. It was something where it was at the Westside YMCA here this past Saturday, and the producer of the event, very nice lady. She is her specialty is life coaching. Well, she told me that they had 30 paid reservations, for this thing. So 30 people had ponied up their cash already, and about 4 people showed. So there are actually more speakers than there were audience members. Right. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. And Dean told me that's actually not an unusual occurrence if you don't know how to get the butts in the seats.
You see,
Dean and I talked about this today again. We talked about this today earlier.
Yep. You guys have something that producers and event professionals don't even have. It's not even a blip on their radar. Yeah. I work with professional event producers, guys and gals who spend literally hundreds of thousands of dollars to put butts in chairs. And you have a methodology, a system of giving away free money, and at no cost to yourself or them. You can rock arenas, you can fill auditoriums, you can, pack out playgrounds, you can, just anything, any place that, and you're just, and you do it simply by helping other people. The problem is these producers think, how am I going to make money? Well, I have to make money. I got to spend money. And so they don't understand that the best way to get results is by help other people get results first, and then you share in the rewards, the spoils, right? Mm-hmm. Even the animal kingdom understands this. If you work together, you get to share in the spoils, right? We're going to get, 3 lions will corner a gazelle. On their own, that gazelle's gone.
But most producers start, even before they begin, they're already on the wrong foot. Many producers, I'm not a speaker, so I can't say, but from what I understand, many speakers go out and they rent a facility. You and I go out and get a facility for free. They go out and pay for advertising. You and I go out and get all our advertising we need for free.
And get paid for it.
Yes. So it's a whole way of thinking different right from the get-go, right? So we don't have a whole lot of money invested, so therefore our returns are huge, but we don't have that $10,000 breaking even point because we've already taken care of everything in a different way, right?
Right.
And the good news is that that's still a mighty powerful leverageable point, because think about it. Now there's only 4 people that know that there were only 4 people there. Uh-huh. So it's not like there were hundreds or thousands of people that showed up and it flopped out, which it wouldn't have, but you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So if you get, 4 people is better than 25, and 4 people is better than 50, depending on the size of the room, of course, and because, when you get those small numbers, then you just, and I'm sure what you guys went out of your way to make those 4 people super happy.
Mm-hmm.
You probably showed them a little bit extra stuff, and
well, the thing is too, you were hired to speak, and that's what you did. You were brought in as a speaker.
Yep.
If you are in charge of putting the butts in the seats, then it's on your onus. But they could say, well, Joe Libby didn't deliver, but you weren't meant to put butts in the seats. Out of from what I can see, you were meant to go there and speak and participate as part of the group that they already promoted and have going on, right? So right. I don't feel bad when someone hires me and I go in and no one's there. It's like, they ain't my problem.
That's right.
Because right, if you're paying me, if I'm paying you on a percentage, then I'm going out and generating my own income and splitting the difference, whatever. But if you're bringing me in as a speaker, just as a turnkey, whatever, then hey, that's not my problem. If there's 4 people, if there's 2,700 people, it's whatever.
That's right.
Move on and don't lose sleep over it.
That's right. No, and I did get some made a couple of nice connections out of it, and I've got some video from it. I have to look at the video that I shot to make sure that I got the angle right, so it doesn't look like I'm speaking to an empty room.
Yeah, but 3 seconds it'll.
So I've got some. But It was okay. It was fun. It was just
in print and promotion, it looked like it was going to be a major event.
Yes.
So, just having and taking those flyer and content said you appeared here. You don't have to say there was only 5 people that showed
Yeah,
up.
I was here, and I was here. Yeah.
I'm not going to tell them that. Something like, "Oh, you wouldn't believe the crowd that was."
That's right. Yeah. How'd it go? That's there. One sales trainer would say, the answer to all of the questions is like, how'd it go? Good, bad, or indifferent? Unbelievable.
That's right.
Absolutely. You wouldn't believe me if I told you. Unbelievable. And that covers it all.
Never seen anything like it.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. That's a nice backhanded way of giving a compliment when a magician comes up to you and says, "How'd I do?" Unbelievable.
Or you've never been better.
You've never been better.
Never been better. May I, Miguel, if I can, I've got I do have a suggestion for you. If you're talking about doing things in your show aimed at the adults, and I'll tell you what I do in my family fun show. And by the way, you must know that from my perspective, my weird monkey hands and all that kind of stuff, the most challenging technical thing that I do in magic is a crosscut force. So having said, maybe a slip force if it's a good day, but I do 2 routines in my show, and by the way, I do plug these big time at the assembly. Because when I tell them this, the kids all want to see it. One of them is I do a routine with one of the ventriloquist masks, and the other one is I finish the show with the sword through the neck illusion, and I always ask the principal or whoever I'm dealing with for 2 volunteers. If the principal is a woman, she's going to be my volunteer for the sword through the neck. Unless she just has incredible stage fright, but nobody's turned me down on that yet. So, and then I ask for somebody that the kids all know. It could be a parent that the kids all know, or the coach, or a teacher who's very popular, and he's my volunteer for the for the mask routine. But I have those 2 adults pre-selected. I asked her to give me those names, a couple of days ahead of time, so I've got those down. Other than that, I use the kids that are at the show. So I just offered that as a suggestion to you. If you want to continue that route, is have the adults pre-selected, and part of the reason I do that is because I want to brief them before the show starts, to show them what that is, because show them the props and everything, and just in case they get a little spooked about having the thing put around her neck, or having to wear this weird mask or something like that. And if they've got issues about that, then I want to know before the show starts, so I can find a substitute. So that's another reason I do that. So anyway, that's just my 2 cents on that.
Thank you.
Good advice.
I had another suggestion too on that. I've had times too where if I had a family crowd, where I mentioned at the beginning, throughout the show, we will be asking for volunteers. If you're selected, don't be shy and embarrassed. Come up and have a great time. Share part of the magic. Throughout the show, we're going to ask for young people and some, bigger people too. And I put my hand up as an adult, and I know that the young ones will be brave, and I know that the parents are going to be brave and lead the way for volunteers too. And at this time, we're going to get our first volunteer. So now the parents, I've already set the stage that they're all going to participate, young and old, and that's part of the event. And whether you're this big or this big, please be brave, right?
Right.
So then when I ask for an adult volunteer, after I prepped them already for that, now the hands will go up, because now, I've already built that as part of my short. And I've only mentioned it a few seconds, but I make sure that's in there so that they're more freely.
Yeah. By the way, again, I will iterate for one last time here.
Pre-framing again, right? It's just,
pre-framing, framing, and reframing is managing, modeling expectations. everything in life is about managing connections and communications, all about managing and modeling expectations. And the tool to do that is pre-frame, frame, and reframe. So again, this is not overcomplicated. This is just humanity. This is the way the brain works. We all have expectations. And what happens anytime there is a conflict, it is all because expectations have been mismanaged, right? I expected you to respond to me in this fashion and you didn't. Or I expected. Now they might not use that language, but I promise you that is the total resolution. All human connection and communication surround expectations, and the best way to manage them is pre-frame, frame, and reframe. That's it. I hate to break it down to that level of simplicity. It just is what it is. So good news, gang. Well, thank you guys very much. I'm excited for your success. I am jacked up that you go out and just have casual conversations with people you want to help. And remember that summer is a great time to fill up your fall calendar. And by the way, if you just have casual conversations and you begin to, say, hey, who do you think in the area might find value in what we're doing? You'll get recommendations, referrals all day long. And because you're helping people. Hey, is there any other community groups that you think might benefit from partnering with us on this event? Hey, yeah, the food bank over here on 5th Street, they're always hitting us up for a food drive. Well, great. Why don't we do something special together and make great things happen? Also, it's not a teachable moment, opportunity to have the school, or hey, we have this school in the district that's specifically catered to special needs for children and families, and they never get included on anything. Well, great. Let's make sure we get them included, and maybe we can raise a couple of dollars for them, over and above what we're, and they're usually, yeah, we'll give them a percentage of ours,
We talked about earlier about the reasons because. So whenever I have contact with schools in the summer, I already had a reason because, right? Like normally I would have contacted you in September, but because I don't want you to miss out, or because this opportunity might not be available by then, or I can do the work behind the scenes. But there's always a reason, and it's best if we met for a few minutes now, get this out of the way. You have nobody at the school, and it's always the benefits to them and why it's better to meet like this.
Because I felt like picking up the phone and talking.
Exactly.
Whatever it doesn't have to be. And again, that's expectation. Why are you calling me? I expect that you shouldn't bother me without a good reason. So simple. KISS from the KISS marketing guy. So. All right. Have a great night. Thank you so much. And certainly let us know what we can do to serve, support, and encourage you. And keep plugged in and keep having conversations and keep finding people to help. Remember, something terrible happens if you don't take action. Nothing. So go out, get more business, make more money, and serve more people. Not necessarily in that order.
You guys are awesome.
Yeah, rock stars.